I know I said that TikTok Takedown Part 3 would be coming out soon, but that video is taking a while to edit since it's over an hour long and has avatars all throughout the video, so I might as well make a shorter video to give you guys some more content while you guys wait for the big video. Because of this, I'll be using my speed paint styles, so yeah, hope you don't mind. Guys, I swear I'm still part of the SCC, I'm just lazy. And little did you know, I'm using this particular speed paint so I can subtly advertise my webcomic. Shark Hunter was right all along. All my videos are just lazy excuses to advertise Souls Meant to Burn. Mwahahahaha. Oh yeah, speaking of Shark Hunter, I am not planning on covering Shark Hunter again for a long time. But that doesn't mean I can't cover tangential videos, now does it? So, here we have a person named Genixx who made a video on Foxcat, but what does any of this have to do with our favorite Sharky boy? Well, he explains this in the video, which I won't be showing the majority of because he kinda drags it out, but Foxcat made a video on Shark Hunter, which Genixx is covering. The context portion of his video is strange. He starts by talking about a person named Katsu Sam, which you may recognize if you've watched my previous videos. Katsu Sam also made a video on Shark Hunter, but it's never really discussed in detail and has no actual relevance to Foxcat's video. If there was some way he tied it back later in the video to Foxcat's video, that would make sense, but he doesn't. The most he does is argue that their videos are very similar, which, okay, did that really justify spending half of your context portion on it? I do also want to bring up that he stresses multiple times that both Katsu and Foxcat refuse to show evidence of their claims in this context portion.
However, what ended up coming from her video was just 10 minutes of Katsu explaining what the movement was, and the last 3 minutes of her bringing up some very ignorant claims that had almost no evidence or context to back them up whatsoever. Now, despite the video being very bad and spreading a lot of misinformation with no evidence, many of her retarded fans and friends willingly believed it all. Foxcat's video is also bad because she brings up some very ignorant claims and provides almost no evidence to back any of them up.
Which I will say, for Foxcat in particular, I actually agree with. While I do think most of what they say is true, they don't actually provide evidence for most of the claims they're making, which is in fact a big flaw with the video that does deserve criticism. That being said, him pointing this out makes him a massive hypocrite later. But we'll get into that when we get into it. I can't speak on anything regarding Katsu's video because I don't really like Katsu and I'm not gonna watch his video just to confirm or deny claims that don't fucking matter, so sorry not sorry. Also, the thumbnail literally calls this 14-year-old he disagrees with a retarded little shit. Did I mention that this guy is 19? Like, okay, adults can cover young teens and children. That's fine. I'd be a hypocrite if I said otherwise. But come on, man. You're calling a child a retard because he disagrees with you over drama regarding another child. Get a job. Okay, before we actually get into the video, just a warning, and you probably noticed this from the clips that I played earlier, this video is packed to the fucking brim with AI. AI voice, AI evidence, and I'm 90% sure his avatars are also AI. This guy claims to not believe in trans people and refuses to use Foxcat's preferred pronouns, yet he clearly wants to be a clanker so damn badly. I'd assume the script itself is AI too if it wasn't for the lack of... It wasn't transphobia. It was standing by the truth. And honestly, that's brave. Let's just say this video proves that the two X's in his name are not supposed to be a redacted U and S. Now, without further ado, let's finally begin. Hold on, let me fix your intro.
Right. Extra noses pounces on you. Ooh, you're so what?
God fucking damn it.
A duck walked up to a lemonade stand and he said to the man, run in the stand. Hey, bump, 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 got any grapes?
Now, despite the video being very bad and spreading a lot of misinformation with no evidence, many of her retarded fans and friends willingly believed it all, which has been causing this misinformation to be spread even more.
The bottom two comments don't actually comment on the quality of Katsu's video. The middle one just expresses dislike of Shark Hunter and his content, and the bottom one just says they're happy that Katsu posted. This doesn't exactly prove much.
A duck walked up to a lemonade stand and he said to the man, run in the stand. Hey, bump, 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 got any grapes?
Let's start with the main problem that I've seen from him. He's transphobic. It is not it seems he is, or he might be, because he quite literally is transphobic and has proven this in multiple of his videos, like the video on Katsu's Sound, Judy Draws, and others. Despite people correcting him on the pronouns of the people he's talking about in his videos, he proceeds to misgender them because they're trans.
Okay, so we're not even a minute into the video and this girl is already saying some stupid shit.
Let's use this as an opportunity to address the elephant in the room really quick. Foxcat uses he, they, it pronouns, which has been consistently and purposefully ignored by Genixx, with him even calling him a girl at some points. But that begs a very important question. How do you know this person is a biological female? Furthermore, why do you care so much about whether or not the person you're covering has a penis or a vagina? And I'm saying this so bluntly because it just shows the ridiculousness of this choice. You care so much about what's in this person's pants that you're trying to make guesses about this person's genitalia so you can refer to them in a way they specifically don't want you to. Is that not strange to you? Like, at all? Normal people don't care about strangers' genitalia. They refer to someone how they want them to refer to them and move on with their life. Hell, this person could very well be a biological male. But guess what? It doesn't fucking matter, because I'm a normal person who doesn't worry about the genitalia of random strangers. This isn't even about woke transgender ideology or whatever the fuck. This is about you giving way too much of a shit about strangers' genitals. And you're part of the anti-degenerate movement, huh?
Just because someone doesn't call an individual by their preferred pronouns doesn't automatically make them transphobic.
Yes, it fucking does. Like, by definition. Shark Hunter, assumably, only misgenders people who he believes are transgender. That is engaging in prejudiced behavior specifically against trans people. That's transphobia. You're an idiot.
People are not entitled to call someone by their preferred pronouns, and especially when they aren't even the opposite gender they claim to identify as.
Especially when they aren't the opposite gender they claim to identify as. What the fuck is this supposed to mean? Like somebody claiming they are a certain gender but they aren't? That's not how gender identity works. If somebody is claiming to be a certain gender, they are that gender because it is their gender identity. Keyword, identity. What the fuck are you talking about? See, this is why I don't think this script is AI. At least AI can be fucking coherent.
None of the members in the group believe in people being transgender or non-binary.
Wait, so now you're against all transgender people just in general? Because just a few seconds ago, you were implying the existence of transgender people who are actually the gender they identify as. Like, what? But do not worry, this is not the last time he is going to flip-flop his opinions on transgender people. He continuously changes his mind on trans people over and over and over again throughout this video without acknowledging it at all. His opinions on trans people are incredibly inconsistent within this video, and honestly, it's one of the funniest parts of this entire video. So I really want you guys to pay attention to what he says about trans people and how it continuously contradicts itself over and over and over again. We'll get more into this later, but this is a huge issue within his video.
which is one of the main reasons why none of us call these people by their preferred pronouns.
This is another statement that is later contradicted.
Not to mention, a lot of us follow our religions, and if you were to look into them, you would find out that things like homosexuality is forbidden because it's considered a sin.
Which is entirely unrelated to calling people by their preferred pronouns, but okay. Also, even if calling a trans person by their preferred pronouns was specifically frowned upon in these religious texts, that doesn't actually mean anything. You giving possible reasons to why the people in this group do something doesn't actually justify their actions. None of this actually proves that Shark Hunter isn't transphobic or isn't a bad person. He would just be a transphobe that is a bad person that is also Muslim. To actually use religion to justify these actions, you would have to prove that these religions are correct, which you can't do. No, I'm not even saying that from an agnostic perspective. I mean, objectively, no matter what religion or lack thereof you believe, you cannot simultaneously prove Islam, Christianity, and Judaism all at the same time to be true. A Muslim who accepts multiple gods is called a mushrik, and it's explicitly a sin. In the Bible, the Christian God says he is the one true deity. The Torah says the same about the Jewish God. Now, I'm not great at math, but if the Jewish God, the Islamic God, and the Christian God are all real, that's 3 gods. That's polytheism. See ya in hell, then. I'll be waiting for ya.
And another thing to keep in mind is that things such as gender dysphoria is considered a mental illness, which is another reason why people don't believe in this delusional bullshit.
Yes, gender dysphoria is a mental illness, but it's not a delusion-related illness at all, despite what you're implying. Gender dysphoria has nothing to do with delusions. It's a disorder that causes anxiety, stress, and depression regarding your gender and biological sex. Now, if, for example, if someone with female genitalia thought they had male genitalia, that would be a delusion, but that's not what gender dysphoria is. Gender is a social construct and isn't something that you can be delusional about. It's about an individual's feelings and self-expression. Identifying with the opposite gender or as non-binary, including pronoun changes, clothing changes, and even surgeries, isn't a symptom of gender dysphoria. It's a treatment for gender dysphoria, like how people with depression take antidepressants. Are you admitting that you and your group are knowingly trying to make someone's mental health worse by trying to lower the effectiveness of their treatment? Because when you put it that way, you know, using actual facts about gender dysphoria and not your twisted version of it, it sounds pretty shitty of you, doesn't it? It's like saying, anorexia is a mental illness, so I'm allowed to call anorexics fat. No, you're making the issue worse.
Personally, I've called people by what they identify as before because I'm not a complete asshole to every person who is transgender or whatever they identify as.
Here's where more contradictions start to come in. So you said earlier that nobody in the anti-degenerate movement calls trans people by their preferred pronouns, yet you, a person in the anti-degenerate movement, are now admitting to calling trans people by their preferred pronouns. What? You also implied last interjection that they're delusional by identifying as transgender, so now you're affirming their delusions? God fucking damn it, pick a side. You even say that you aren't a complete asshole to everyone who is transgender because you call some of them by their preferred pronouns, which means you're implying that it is in fact an asshole move to misgender trans people. You're basically just saying, I'm transphobic, but not towards everyone, which, okay, not only is that not relevant since we were talking about Shark Hunter and not you, but also that would still make you transphobic. If you're only bigoted to people you don't like, you're still bigoted. If I'm respectful to one black person and call another black person the N-word because I personally don't like them, is that not still racist?
The only times I don't do it is when I talk about certain people who I think aren't actually what they identify as and just do it as a fetish, for attention, or when I think they don't deserve any kind of respect.
How do you know when someone is being trans as a fetish or for attention? You have literally no way to figure that out other than your personal biases and prejudices. You know, like transphobia.
And yet, despite all that, I still get called a bigot or an asshole because I don't want to use someone's stupid-ass pronouns.
Because you are one. You called transgender people delusional. Only use a transgender person's preferred pronouns if you personally believe they're worthy of it, and just said trans people's preferred pronouns are stupid. Is that not enough evidence of obvious bigotry? Also, you literally just admitted that not calling a trans person by their preferred pronouns makes you an asshole, and now you're mad that people are calling you an asshole? It's giving that one friend we've all had at some point that's like, "Well, I'm such a bad person," and then you agree with them, and then they get mad at you for saying the thing that they just said because they weren't able to successfully guilt trip you.
Another major thing that I've noticed about Sark Hunter is that he lacks the ability to take accountability, and as someone who also has problems with taking accountability, I can actually speak on this a lot. I'm personally trying my best to think about what I've done wrong others and trying to improve on this aspect, but Sark Hunter isn't. He makes videos talking about others and expects them to learn anything from his videos after the blatant disrespect he puts in his videos. But then when somebody else makes a video on him, he seems to straw man and ignore what people are saying about him. Refusing to take any accountability and being totally immature isn't a good look for him. It's a way to destroy his already terrible reputation. With him taking no accountability and being immature, he destroys any chance of having new people go to his side that weren't already bigoted like he is with his views.
I will admit Shark Hunter isn't a perfect individual. And to tell you the truth, I've criticized him for some of the things he's done and gave suggestions as to how he can improve whenever we're on Discord with the rest of the members or discussing video ideas with each other. And from my experience talking with him, he actually appreciates me being honest with him, since it helps not only with him, but also the rest of the group members improve and grow our channels.
Cool, an anecdote with absolutely no evidence. Remember when I said he was a hypocrite for complaining about the lack of evidence in Foxkit's video? Yeah. So this proves all of jack and shit. Now, Foxkit didn't show any proof of this claim, but I absolutely can, and I will.
How about you mention that getting salmonella through raw eggs is a 1 in 30,000 chance?
That is not what that screenshot says. That says that every 1 in 20,000 eggs are contaminated with salmonella. First of all, it's 20,000, not 30,000. Use your eyes.
Minor error in the videos, you said 30,000 instead of 20,000?
Now, how a person who takes accountability would respond would be something more like, "Oh, you're right. My bad. That was a mistake on my part, and you're correct to point that out." Instead, he chooses to complain not that I was incorrect, but that I was correct, but in a way he didn't think personally mattered enough for him to take accountability for. It is not that hard to just say, "Oh shit, my bad." Like, we all make mistakes. It's not that hard to just acknowledge it casually, but no, he decides to flip it on me and act like I'm wrong for bringing it up in the first place. That is literally the opposite of taking accountability.
No. The animals just get those.
That's her response. They just get those guys.
Yeah, this is all he has to say on this point. No studies backing up his view, no logical debunking, literally just mocking me.
Oh wow, like you haven't done that before.
No studies backing up his view, no logical debunking, literally just mocking me.
This is a classic tu quoque fallacy, a type of ad hominem that presents itself by specifically accusing the person of being a hypocrite instead of addressing their points. What someone who takes accountability would do would be to actually address the fucking argument. Deflecting criticism is an obvious sign of someone who refuses to take accountability. Need more examples? Okay, let's have past MG explain this one.
I decided I was going to make a full pre-made video on Shark Hunter's video. I told Shark Hunter about this, and he immediately got nervous about it. Yeah, if a critic of yours says, I'm gonna make a video on you, and your first response is, okay bro, you don't have to go that far, clearly your video is so weak that you know that me simply challenging your arguments will reveal all the flaws. And then he edited his fucking message as if I'd forget that he said that. No, I screenshotted it before you edited it. Try again, buddy.
This is a double example, actually. Let's break this down. Hey, no, I said break this down, not break it down. So, first, Shark Hunter expresses nervousness about me critiquing his video. Someone who takes accountability would be happy for someone to criticize their videos, especially since, as I explain in the clip, it's obvious based on his reaction that he knows his video is flawed and is scared of people pointing it out. People who take accountability don't act like this in response to the idea of their actions being challenged. Then, he edits his message so that he doesn't have to deal with the consequences of what his statement implies. What a person who takes accountability would do would be to openly address the statement and explain that he doesn't agree with it. People who hide their mistakes instead of addressing it aren't the same people who regularly take accountability when faced with critique. Have I proven my point yet?
As for him supposedly straw-manning for whenever someone makes a video on him, this doesn't make any sense because the videos I've seen that have been made on him provide almost no criticism for him and instead just nitpick and cry about stupid shit that is supposedly bad that he either says or does.
Quick cut-in point, because I didn't notice this until just now in the middle of editing this video, but Genixx says that the people who make videos on Shark Hunter don't critique him, but instead of critiquing him, they nitpick and I quote, cry about stupid shit that is supposedly bad that he either says or does. So critique. You just described, in a very biased fashion, critique. And it's really funny because he words it in a way to where it doesn't actually sound incoherent when you first hear it, but then you actually think about it and process it and consider what he's actually trying to convey with the sentence he just said, and then you realize he just said, they're not critiquing him, they're critiquing him. But yeah, back to the video. Can we see some examples of this? No? Cool. Also, you can strawman a point even if it's a shitty one. That doesn't necessarily prove anything. Let's say I believe the Earth is flat because, I don't know, the horizon is straight. Can we all agree this point is stupid? Can we all agree that the Earth is not flat?
I think, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, actually, if you pour water on a ball... Oh, fuck off. You don't count. Get out of here. Anyway, as I was saying, what if someone summarized my point as, MG believes the Earth is flat because the Earth is flat in Minecraft. My original point is incredibly wrong and stupid, but it can still be strawmanned. Every point can be strawmanned if you try hard enough. It doesn't necessarily have to be a good point to begin with.
If you actually want him to take your videos seriously, instead of whining about him not using pronouns or him calling people out for promoting suggestive and inappropriate stuff to minors, maybe try to actually give valid points instead of saying the exact same shit or provide context or some kind of evidence to back up your claims.
But here's the issue. Both of the things you listed do deserve critique. The pronouns thing does because it's transphobia, and transphobia is bad. We've already been through this. And the point about him calling out people who promote NSFW to minors should also be critiqued because he is a minor himself. In fact, you, as an adult who is apparently his friend, or at least friendly with him, should be encouraging him to stop doing that. Because he, as a minor, is not equipped to talk about these topics for the same reasons why adults promoting pornography to minors is bad in the first place. But no, suddenly when you could actually be helpful to him, all of a sudden your criticism goes quiet. And if I'm being completely honest, I would argue that you are a little more than complicit in this minor talking about not safe for work topics. You know that group you're in? The anti-degenerate movement? What is that about again? What's that? Shark Hunter admits that this movement is mainly meant to focus on sexual degeneracy? So you, an adult, decided to join a group run by a 15-year-old about not safe for work topics. Does that not sound irresponsible to you at all? Like, in the slightest? Really? At 19? Let's be so fucking for real here.
But in reality, you people don't care one bit about what we really have to say, and only want to talk about us in order to spread misinformation and start drama for attention.
It seems like whenever you personally don't like something, you claim it's done for attention. When you want an excuse to be transphobic, it's they're trans for attention. When you don't like someone's video criticizing Shark Hunter, it's they made it for attention. Seems like you're a one-trick pony, and your one trick is making up bullshit excuses. And by the way, there was another instance of this that I cut out. Look at this.
It's like when one person decides to make a shitty video for attention, another person will follow up and do the exact same thing, with the only difference being that somehow their video ends up being worse.
Like, seriously, this video is getting incredibly repetitive.
A duck walked up to a lemonade stand and he said to the man running the stand, "Hey, bump, 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 got any grapes?"
The anti-degenerate movement is meant to erase degenerates from the internet as a whole. And while this sounds perfect on the surface when you don't know who Shark Hunter is, the moment you do even a little bit of digging, you come to realize that it's flawed. Seeing as Shark Hunter has proven himself to be a bigot on multiple occasions, with homophobia and the fact that he purposefully misgenders trans people makes me deem him as a transphobe, disrespecting those of a certain group. And if you think that I'm wrong in calling Shark Hunter a bigot, then here's a definition from the Oxford Dictionary. The Oxford Dictionary quietly describes the word bigot as a person who is—
Dude, chill. All this guy did was make a kinda flawed video and be transgender, and all you've been doing is calling him a retard and a little shit. God fucking damn. And you guys know I'm not above being kind of an asshole in my videos, but there's a time and a place.
obstinately or unreasonably attached to a belief, opinion, or faction, especially one who's prejudiced against or antagonistic toward a person or people on the basis of their membership of a particular group. Things that would make somebody a bigot by default is if they're racist, sexist, transphobic, xenophobic, and homophobic, as those would be them having a prejudice against people based on their membership of a particular group. Shark Hunter has proven that he fits into this term for a while, going from him being an anti-furry, homophobic, and transphobic. And yes, I know that he is no longer an anti-furry, and good for him. I hope he can continue improving, but case in point, Shark Hunter fits perfectly into the definition of bigot or bigotry.
I want you all to keep in mind this is a 14-year-old that made this video.
I've been keeping it in mind since you've been calling him a retard and continuously misgendering them while knowing it could negatively impact his mental health. And this is all over what? You not liking his video on Shark Hunter and you having some weird beef with transgender people? Get a fucking job!
I can't believe she looked at this video and thought that this was tough.
The only valid point you've had against his video so far is his lack of evidence. That's it. Every other point you've made has been bullshit. If you want to start talking about how he should have known better, blah 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 blah, at least give us something decent to work with first. Go girl, give us nothing.
And people would agree with her when in reality all she did was embarrass herself before her name could even get out there online.
I think needing AI to make your YouTube videos is like 10 times more embarrassing than somebody making a slightly mediocre video.
It is so hard to take this video seriously for the fact that this kid stutters like a fucking schizophrenic patient and can barely pronounce words correctly.
You cannot be criticizing anyone for their speech impediment considering you're using an AI fucking voice. Also, they literally were not stuttering that much. They might have stuttered a little bit, and they were definitely slurring their words, but that's not the same as them stuttering like a schizophrenic patient or whatever the fuck you said. You are heavily over-exaggerating.
I would also love to know what this girl knows about people being transgender, because last time I checked, a kid can't be trans either.
Wait, what? Okay, first of all, yes they can. Where in this definition does it state or even imply that you need to be an adult to be trans? Oh, it doesn't imply or state that? What a shocker. If we ignore you blatantly making shit up, you're also contradicting yourself. You said that nobody in the anti-degenerate movement believes in transgender people, but now you're specifying that children can't be transgender, except I thought you believed that nobody could be transgender. So why specify them being a minor? Furthermore, again, why do you care? How does their gender affect their video in any way? Are you that fixated on a stranger's pronouns not matching what you assume their genitalia looks like, to the point where it distracts from the points they're making? This is fucking stupid.
But yet this kid thinks she is. Another reason why I can't take this girl seriously is the fact that this is also the same person who was trying to defend people like Junie Draws, who, keep in mind, was exposed for associating with a necrophile.
Can we see literally any evidence of this? I'm not even saying that you're incorrect. I would just like some evidence that this claim is true.
But instead of looking at the evidence Shark Hunter provided, Foxkit instead went after Shark Hunter for not calling Junie by the correct pronouns.
Okay, and they're completely valid to critique him for that. What's your point?
Like, this girl wants to bitch and cry so badly about Shark Hunter not using pronouns correctly, but evidently has her priorities all fucked up. I know this video may seem shorter than usual, and I do apologize.
Oh buddy, do not worry. The shorter, the better. I am fucking sick of this video.
But it was very difficult to find points to talk about in Foxkit's video, and I didn't want to keep repeating myself for certain parts of the video. But the good news is, when I was editing this video, Foxkit had shared another video that was made on Shark Hunter, only this time it was made by a friend of hers called Cherry. Now, the video isn't anything special, as it's just as shitty as Foxkit's video, but I figured it would be fun to react to it as like an honorable mention for you guys. I do want you to keep in mind that there is no voice or audio in this video, so I'm gonna add another AI voice to read the text out for this video. But without wasting any more time, let's react to this video.
This does not even deserve a cute skip card. It does not. I am going to explain to you exactly what happens next. He plays a 3-minute uninterrupted clip of this video. Now, that's pretty annoying, but if he has a lot to say about it, I would understand. You want to know what he says about it? I'm just gonna skip to it. We're skipping this entire video. It's entirely irrelevant. Nothing it says is ever brought up in his response. Here is what he says.
I bet a whole whopping $3 that this was just Foxkit that made this video, but didn't want to post it on her channel because she knew nobody would take her seriously. There isn't really a lot I have to say about Cherry's video other than it's just a pile of shit and clearly was made to try and get attention.
I am not fucking joking. That is it. That is the entirety of what he had to say about that 3-minute uninterrupted clip. I wish I was joking. Nowhere does he make a single fucking point actually related to anything said in the 3-minute fucking video. So what was the point of playing the video? If you wanted to just make fun of the video for like 20 seconds, you could've just screenshotted a few parts of it and put it on the screen. You did not need to play 3 fucking minutes of an entire fucking video just to say absolutely jack and shit about it. And here I thought Crying Blossom wasn't on YouTube anymore.
Like I said earlier, I do apologize that this video wasn't that long or really that good, because I truly did try to talk about this girl, but it's really difficult too when her points are very ignorant or were not even interesting to talk about. I only wanted to talk about this video for the sole fact that it's just spreading misinformation, and people are out here just believing this crap without actually looking into the context of anything.
How do you know they haven't looked at the context? Can you explain what context is missing from this comment? Of course not.
But to conclude this video, Foxcat is a disingenuous individual who needs to do better research on her videos.
Says the guy who uses AI overview as evidence instead of actually citing real sources. Also, they did. They just didn't provide evidence, which, while being an issue, is different from not doing research. They had their facts straight for the most part, they just should have given proof of these facts.
And actually look into the context of things before making videos on certain topics. She also needs to get her priorities fixed because it's actually disgusting how she's out here trying to defend a necrophile like it's not a big deal.
Wait, hold on. So first Junie Draws was friends with a necrophile, and now he is a necrophile? Well, that's a big fat inconsistency. Can we see some evidence to prove this new claim? Of course not. Why would I expect effort from a video that was half made by ChatGPT?
Apart from that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video.
This video made me want to die. But anyway, I'm done with this video. This video fucking sucked. Everything about it fucking sucked. Almost all the points fucking sucked. Every single thing that came out of this stupid guy's mouth fucking sucked. But wait, it didn't even come out of his mouth. It came out of a fucking robot's mouth because he can't even bother to use his voice. This video was absolute fucking trash. I don't even think I need to explain why it's trash because I've spent this entire fucking video explaining in detail why it's trash. Stay tuned for TikTok Takedown Part 3, and goodbye.